conversation uh, at the Capitol. Oh, we had a nice conversation at the Capitol, and it was absolutely impactful. I mean, to walk around and see how power works, how it moves, how it shifts, and it was just something that it was it was inspiring. It made me want to go back home and work harder. It made me also see the obstacles and the challenges that we're facing as a nation and as a state. To see that, the supermajority in Tallahassee has no filter. They don't seem to not care. And it's just been crazy. I mean, just to watch the bills be debated about people's liberties and people's rights, it was scary to know that we are living in 2023 and these are the conversations that we're having, about eliminating rights and things like that. I'm very fortunate enough to have went there. I learned a lot. Got to also meet with Senator Ed Hooper's legislative aides. Me and the senator will be having a meeting in the coming weeks to talk about some of these bills that his signature is on. We have to hold our elected officials accountable. We pay their salaries. We are the ones that we have to hold them accountable. Them questions, and we can let them know that we don't want them to vote this particular way because it's harmful. It's harmful to us, members in our community, and we also have to let them know that we are watching. If people don't stand up, if people do not even care, then that's why this supermajority will continue to operate with immunity. I mean, just to hear Democratic lawmakers on the floor talk about bills and the supermajority not even listening, not even caring, walking around on the floor. I mean, just not because, by the time the supermajority gets there, they know how they're going to vote. They already know that they're going to vote however the governor tells them to vote and however their caucus tells them to vote. The Democrats are fighting a big battle up there. And it's our job to wake up all of our people, let everybody know it's time for people to get out and vote. Because if more people got out and vote and more people held these elected officials accountable that are gerrymandering our districts, giving them this supermajority, then we probably would have a more equal and fair system that works for all of us. Because I can tell you what I've seen over those 2 days, it's not working for the minority here in Florida. Candace, can you go ahead and pull up? I believe it was one of the documents I sent you. This is just one of the bills that are coming out of the state legislature. So I just wanted to give you a little legislative recap. There are some crazy bills coming out of the state legislature right now. There's bills attacking voting rights. There's bills attacking immigration. So right now we got a summary of the Senate Bill 1718 on immigration, sponsored by Senator Blaze in Angola. These are Republicans that introduced this bill. This bill right here, Senator Blaze, Representative Key and Michael filed an anti-immigration legislation package. Now, right here, you can see, I'm not going to read every single detail, but as you can see, let's just say you're going down the street and you see a migrant family. Might not know they're a migrant family, but you see someone in distress and they need help, and you give them a ride to the doctor or to the hospital. Well, if the immigration department comes to the hospital and they say, oh, well, Marlo gave them a ride, well, now Marlo can be charged. It could be a crime. That's just one of the things that this supermajority is doing. They're not working on this crazy insurance issue that we have, property insurance issue we have in Florida. They're worried about the immigration and trying to go after the migrant community who works very hard in our community. I mean, Florida is a agricultural state. And let's be honest. Do you think Ron DeSantis is going to go out and pick strawberries? Do you think Ron DeSantis is going to go out and pick apples or oranges? I don't think so. And I don't think anybody in that supermajority is going to do it as well. So, they're attacking people that are already fighting a hard fight just to survive, coming to this country just to be able to have a little bit of the American dream and give their children a better life. I met with an impacted family, and when that father told me about how he had to swim across the Rio Grande with his infant daughter on his back, I could not do anything but tear up because I have daughters. And just to think a father having to go through that extreme traumatic experience just to feed his family and then come to this country and be treated like crap. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to stomach. We also have another bill, Candace, if you can bring that up. I'm just going to touch on this briefly and then I'll open the floor for a little bit of discussion on some of these major bills that I see coming forth. We also have one more bill that I think just got fast tracked through the Senate over the last 72 hours. And that is a bill that will allow Ron DeSantis to run for president and still keep his job as governor and loses. Now, before a person who ran for president or any type of office like that would have to resign from their post, whether that's governor or lieutenant governor, they would have to resign. Well, now this bill that is the Senate has fast tracked to probably go into the House for a vote next week will allow the governor to do just that. Now, I know, Chris, you're talking about that app. That app sounds absolutely amazing. Sounds like a tool that we desperately need, especially in the state of Florida. If you could scroll up just a little bit, Candace, for me there, so I can read the. So this is Senate Bill 7050. Now, this is an interesting bill. This is for third party folks. You know, a lot of people in Florida help to get people registered, especially with the vote by mail. A lot of people don't know if you normally register to vote by mail, you normally have to re-register every 4 years. Well, the new sheriff in town said we're going to switch that to every 2 years. So everybody that voted in the last presidential election, guess what? Your vote by mail ballot is not coming unless you renewed it. Yes, that was a tactic that they did for a particular reason, because people of color, Democrats, independents, Republicans, not even some Republicans, people tend to vote more by mail, especially during the pandemic. People were voting by mail in record numbers. So this was something to attack that right away. But we also have issues with this now, which is fast tracking and will be signed into law any day now, I assure you. Senate Bill Senate Bill 7050 elections requiring the Secretary of State to provide a mandatory formal signature matching training to specified person, authorizing the Office of Election Crimes and Security, which is the governor's new Gestapo force, to hunt down people who I guess vote when they're not supposed to, which we all seen. Most of the people that they arrested end up not being charged with the said crime because it was all a ploy to scare people of color from voting. But I'll go on. So requiring first-time applicants to register to vote in the state and comply with specific identification requirements, requiring third-party registration organizations to inform the Division of Elections. So what they're doing is they're pretty much saying to all those third-party people that are helping register to vote, they're going into impacted communities, going to places that are very hard to reach sometimes. They're telling those people, now we're going to make it harder for you. A third party now must issue a receipt to each person they register. Third party can assist voters with filling out a ballot. Third party must apply each election cycle for certification. Third party organizations can't utilize voter guides. You remember those voter guides that people get out there sometimes at the voting polls to help them, because sometimes it can be kind of crazy when you're at that voting booth and you see all those different things on there and you don't know what it is or what's going on. Now, this is the crazy one. Third-party fines increased to $100,000 per calendar year. That's a lot of money. So how many third-party organizations are going to want to now come to Florida to help us? Not a lot. So this is what's going on in Tallahassee. There are more bills. I encourage you to look up your local leader, Ed Hooper, and Brad Yeager, if you live in Newport Richey, Pasco County area. Look them up, contact them. You can go to the Florida State House website. You can look up all the bills that they have filed, voted on, or participated in. I encourage you to do so. There is a lot. I couldn't share them all with you now. So that's my legislative wrap up. I do want to just say before I let the floor open for a little discussion that we are having an action on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. At the Newport Richey City Hall. Just recently, the City Council decided that they were going to try to limit public comment at the City Council meetings. They were going to bring that up for a discussion. Over the last couple of days, it has got a lot of traction. People in the community, my phone was blowing off the hook. People are saying, protect your voice. Tell Newport Richey City Council to vote no on limiting public comment. Come and let your voice be heard. Now we have gotten word that the City Council has now taken this off the agenda. So we do have a little bit of a victory there because I think they got the message that we will come and protect our First Amendment rights no matter what. We will come and we will hold those people accountable. What we understand is the new mayor who won by 13 votes, this was his request. So we still want you to come and listen to the council meeting, come and be a part of the process, come and speak about how the First Amendment is important, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen, and I open the floor to you.
Hi, I'm going to speak first. The reason I'm doing so is because I had an horrific experience this morning as I'm getting ready for work. So I went out in the community and encouraged people to come to our council meeting on Tuesday. I encouraged them to come to our peaceful protest, and I explained to them what was going on, how they were trying to limit public comment on certain items. Needless to say, I have a neighbor that I reached out to, and I explained everything that was going on. And she comes to my apartment this morning around 8:30, yelling at me, literally yelling in my face. The mayor never said that. I looked up the agenda last night and it's not on there anymore. I said, because it was revised, because the city stood up. The community stood up and came together. So they revised it. And then she went on to tell me how things were done back in her day and how things were done back in her day at council meetings. And she's rambling on about former mayors, so on and so forth. And she was very adamant that we were telling stories, that we were fabricating. The fact that our city council, our mayor actually had that topic on the agenda item. Needless to say, she looked at the agenda item last night. Of course, she didn't see it on there because it was revised yesterday morning or late the night before. Late the night before. So I just want to give you all like, I don't know if you all believe in God or the universe or whatever, but everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Just like I wasn't supposed to be off of work at this time. But what are the odds that I experienced that from one of my neighbors? And then I actually have the opportunity to speak to y'all about what actually happened today. It may seem like I'm talking in circles, but I'm still kind of perturbed about what I experienced. But yeah, so that's what I go through living in downtown Newport Richey. It was not nice. But so yeah, I just wanted to share that. And now I'm just going to listen to you all and learn.
Thank you so much. Anybody have anything they'd like to add?
Can I reply back to Shaniki?
Yeah.
Shaniki, I just want to encourage you because, that is what happens when you stand up and you speak. People will come and I don't want to say accost you, but, they will confront you about changing things. They will confront you about what you say and what you speak about, hoping that you will renege, hoping that you won't stand firm on what you're saying. So that, I know it don't feel like a good thing, but it does mean that you are saying something. And people notice when you speak out, they notice all of the things that you all are doing. And that is just a testament to it. So don't stop speaking out because of it.
And thank you, Candace. And I definitely won't. And I'll leave you guys with this from the incident I endured this morning. Once I told the individual, yeah, it's revised. You won't see it. She said, well, there's no reason for you all to protest now. Now, I'm not really going to say what I said because I'm going to respect everybody. But in layman's terms, I was like, okay, yeah, right. But yeah, we're still going to keep pushing. We're still going to keep moving. But I just couldn't believe it. Like literally came to my apartment. So, but thanks for the encouraging words, Candace. And we're definitely not going to stop. And we will remain peaceful.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you will keep that peaceful mentality, because there are going to be people that come at you and try to, get that rise out of you because they see that you're doing something good in your community. They see that you're actively at City Hall engaged. Of course, they're going to say that because those people don't know the facts. She just went and seen the agenda, but she didn't see the agenda that they put out on Monday, where that was on the agenda. She should have probably looked at the part where it said revised and said, what does that mean? And you can look into the document and see, that the mayor put that on the agenda. He wanted to bring it up for a discussion, and we all know why they took it off the agenda. But it's important because this is the second time that they tried to do that. This is the second time that they actually tried to limit public comment in some way. I know they're going to say at one point when we were marching peacefully, after the death of George Floyd, that they wanted to only make it to where Newport Richey residents that lived in the incorporated city limits could speak. And then they quickly got away from that. So what I'm going to do right now, because since this is a really good conversation, I would like to continue it just a little bit, but we will run out of time. But what I have done, I have sent you all an email with the link, and all you have to do once this link is over is just click that link, and it'll take you right into our other meeting hall. That is right now. I did just send it to you. So if that cuts off, just click that link, and it'll bring you back to our meeting space. But yeah, Shaniki, keep on doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. People look up to you in that community when they have issues, when things are not going right, or there's some type of injustice. People reach out to you. There are going to be people like that who say those types of things, and try to discourage you. But they don't know what we know. They don't know what we've been through as impacted people by the system and by the city officials. They have no idea. But you did it the right way. I know you know how to handle yourself in those situations. So keep up the good work. And like I said, just encourage people, hey, if you come out and join us, it'll be a peaceful demonstration. And then we're going to go into City Hall. We're going to speak peacefully like we always do. But we are going to remind them to stop playing with the First Amendment. Meeting